New York City, a bustling metropolis, acting as a melting pot for many cultures and practices from around the world. Beneath the Catholic-dominant exterior of the city lies an abundance of diverse Afro-Caribbean cultures, with a large community of practitioners throughout the 5 boroughs. One such religion is Santeria, emerging back in the 19th century Cuba as a fusion of traditional African Yoruba culture and Roman Catholic beliefs. Santeria has spread beyond its country of origin and throughout Latin America and urban metropolises in the United States. The religion is based upon practices such as divination and communication between the physical world and the spiritual one. The Orishas serve as spirit mediators between humans and the supreme being, Oludumare or Olurum. Another religion with significant prominence in New York City is Voodoo. Typically stereotyped in the West as voodoo, voodoo has enjoyed a rich history throughout many centuries. Though there were many attempts by Catholics and Protestants to perform a cultural genocide and wipe out voodoo from Haiti, the religion has persevered and spread to the United States mainly through Haitian refugees fleeing to New Orleans. Spiritismo began in the Caribbean and Latin America, with roots in French Spiritism. The Puerto Rican variant of Spiritismo arrived in New York City as a result of immigration. It has since enjoyed a connected community in areas such as Washington Heights and Harlem. We asked them about what spiritualism means to them and what they know about African-based religions to get an understanding on how the average New Yorker perceives these cultures.
Spirituality look like for you?
It's a way of life. I definitely think that there's a lot of people who feel like when you go step into spirituality that it's just like a small part, but genuinely having the understanding of what it means to be spiritual, you realize that it is in all things yourself and around you at all times, and that it makes more sense when you simply integrate it in your day-to-day life.
It's something that probably doesn't resonate a huge amount with me, I'll be honest. For me personally, like one spiritual thing that I would like resonate with would be the kind of like everything happens for a reason little narrative, and I feel like I've taken a lot of peace in that.
Early on in my life, I was very, very into it and always wanting to be around everyone in the church, from like the pastors to everyone who came. But now that I've gotten older, I'd say I've definitely grown away from churches as I've realized that you don't need to have a place to be with God. You just have to find it in yourself.
From our interviews, it is clear many see spiritualism as a vast umbrella. We embarked on a trip to Harlem, a hotspot for botanicas and practitioners of African religions. Our next stop was at Botanica El Congo 2, down in Lexington Ave, a much smaller shop. Unfortunately, we weren't able to film inside, so we went to their other location further down on East 104th Street. This Botanica was a small one, but it had lots of options for incense, Florida waters, and candles. Though he wasn't keen on appearing on camera, we were able to interview a Botanica worker about his views on spirituality and how he practices his faith. Though he has stated that the ancient rituals of communing with spirits have been practiced by elders in his family, he doesn't personally engage in these practices as much. We interviewed Kyler James, a practicing tarot reader. We were told to keep a distance, as the reading was given to filter out conflicting energies. After getting our tarot reading, we now set out to inform these average civilians about the truth behind these ancient practices and deconstruct the conventional misconceptions about them.
There are Afro-Caribbean religions that basically, it's a bit of a combination of religion that came from tribes in Africa mixed with Christianity when the slaves were brought over to the Caribbean. And it's a pretty cool and like under represented religion. And the thing that people associate closest to it is voodoo.
Well, I think of voodoo dolls, but I think of Mama Odie from Princess and the Frog. When I hear voodoo, I definitely think of people of color, and I think of like something that has old roots, and maybe something that I'm gonna leave right there because it's not a part of my culture. And I don't want to touch things I'm not supposed to touch, but I think it's interesting. Yeah.
I think of witchery. I think of satanic. practices. I think of when you're calling on spirits, even in the Bible, we're not supposed to. Those that are dead, they're dead. And those of us that have accepted Christ, we will see our loved ones again. But when it comes to what you're saying to me, that's a negative. That's demonic for me. That's how I look at it.
With that, our journey comes to a close. Through our visits to various botanicas and conversations with psychics in Harlem, we were able to get a glimpse into the vast world of West African spiritualism in New York City. Many of the practices have evolved as the centuries pass and variants of these religions integrate into urban spaces of the Western world. Only time will tell how these practices will continue to evolve in the future.